John, we got an intense week of disasters. It's becoming increasingly difficult to determine what the worst thing Joe Biden has done might be because they just keep getting worse and worse. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm not sure that he's actively doing anything. In fact,
Right.
it seems like he's kind of MIA. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he knows where he is. Uh, but there's sure a lot of strange things happening all at the same time, it seems.
Yeah.
You talk about bread and circuses. When I was a kid, Ringling Brothers had a 3-ring circus. I feel like right now we're like at an 8-ring circus. It's like, whoa, how are we supposed to keep track of all the different moving parts here?
All the rings. Why don't you help people understand what we've got in this image today? We're basically going to be wondering about, what else they're not telling you about. There have been so many, as you said, crazy occurrences going on. We had the Chinese balloon, which is maybe not a Chinese balloon. Now they're saying they're shooting down hobby balloons. I personally find that pathetic if the U.S. military can't tell the difference between a $12 balloon and a Chinese threat. They don't know what the other things were, but they definitely weren't aliens. I love it when people tell you that. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not this. How do you know?
Definitely not. Definitely
Yeah.
not. It was
Now,
just hovering in space with no sign of propulsion, but definitely wasn't that. Yeah, definitely.
right. We also got food prices going through the roof. $8 for eggs. Chickens dying. We got them stacked up here.
Yeah, I'm predicting $10 a dozen to $12 a dozen in the next 2 weeks because of what we're going to talk about tonight on the show.
Wow.
There's some phenomenon going on. And I'm not just talking about fires and disasters, but there's other things going on where I'm sort of predicting, and I could be wrong, right? So this is different from Jim Cramer on Mad Money, right? Jim Cramer just says things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say I could be wrong. So I think the price of eggs and the availability of both eggs and chickens are about to disappear. And if you remember early on in the pandemic, it was very difficult for some reason to get certain staple items like toilet paper and paper towels, certain food items like soup disappeared. I was like, did they stop shipping these items? Did they stop making it? It was kind of weird. It's like, well, why is there none of this stuff? I think you're going to see a shortage of eggs and chickens, and you'll see why when we go deeper into the show tonight.
Yeah, and it's also important that we remind everybody on Fridays, we're doing the sponsor exclusive show. People are going to be able to join us for that on subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I've also been talking to people kind of a lot about my new favorite alternative to YouTube, which of course is Odyssey.com. People can now become sponsors, or members is the language that they use on Odyssey, but you can watch the free shows on Odyssey, simulcasts of this show, and you can access the sponsor exclusive content by becoming a member. And this is the most economical way to become a member. I've been trying to make it as inexpensive as possible for people, John, because I know a lot of people are experiencing financial crunch as we have inflation and all of this stuff happening. I'm curious to know why you predicting these higher egg prices. I mean, I agree with you. And if we just quickly look at this, the leading 10 U.S. states based on the number of chickens, Ohio is number 1. And we just had this huge toxic chemical disaster, which is killing chickens. That can't help.
No, certainly can't. So Ohio, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and then Georgia. So in tonight's show, we're going to take a closer look. Again, I don't make predictions that often. And if I do, it's based on something that's tangible, that we've got evidence of something. So you'll see that as we go deeper into the show. But it's good to know that most of the chickens are in Ohio.
Bro,
it's good to right. It's
poison. We need to get that New York chicken count up. Get a couple birds
in the battle of the chickens.
Yeah, the chicken battle.
So, yeah, we're gonna have to talk to the guys in Staten Island.
We got a lot of soup, a lot of chicken soup, but I haven't seen any chickens around.
Up. Yeah, we're gonna have to chicken up. Why don't we go to the deck and I'll show the YouTube audience a couple of things before we go to the patron only show. When we go to the patron only show, I got a lot of videos tonight, a lot of video clips. I know that last week's show, we got to share with the audience some of the new diplomacy techniques that I was very excited about. And I think the audience was very excited about those diplomacy techniques also. Remember the BPD diplomacy was very exciting. Tonight for the YouTube audience, we've got a bunch of animated GIFs that they're going to get a chance to see. But first, let's take a look at what's happening on the Twitter sphere, Twitter page. I changed my banner, and I changed the banner on the Twitter thing where it's now an overlay of the excess deaths and the P&I deaths, but that's not my P&I chart. That's a P&I chart from Emma Woodhouse, and she posted this from the Wonder database. So she was going back and forth with me about my source versus pulling it straight from Wonder. So I said, so go ahead, chart the P&I deaths from Wonder. Show me what the chart looks like.
It's the same.
So
it looks like yours.
Yeah, same damn thing.
So what did she say? Was she left wondering?
This is why I'm so much fun at parties, is I tend to suck the oxygen out of the room worse than like the Moab bomb. You know, they talk about these bombs that suck the oxygen out of your lungs. Yeah. I kind of do that at parties with my pictures.
Thermobaric party.
Yeah, I'm a thermobaric guest. So a lot of fun. So what I did was I overlaid her chart onto the excess deaths, and what you see is almost a perfect fit. I mean, if these were fingerprints, guilty. Yeah, I mean, you could prosecute on this. I mean, look at how these.
How could it be anything other than a correlation when these bumps align so closely?
Right, and so the issue here is this doesn't fit anyone's hypothesis but mine. And I'm the YouTube guy in the creepy outfit.
I don't find it that creepy. It's, I guess, but
I would. But you see, I would if I were watching Hannity and some dude looking like this came on. I said, "Get the hell out of here! Come on! This is a freaking joke."
What if the guy had $1,000 hair and a CIA pin on his lapel? Then it would be okay.
Yeah, with the square jaw crew. Yeah. Then of course you have to believe him. So again, that's why I bring such tangible evidence to the table, so that hopefully you guys will forget me. You know, I'm kind of when they do Sesame Street and the guys are moving the puppets around, you're not supposed to look at the guy who's moving the stuff around. That's why they're dressed in black and they're kind of hiding, right? I'm showing you guys the data. Here's the data. Look at the data. Don't look at me. Look at the puppet.
We should get a John Cullen Muppet and have you appear via Muppet. That would be good.
It's gonna look like the Baba Booey puppet. Yeah, I'm afraid.
I like that.
That's not good. We don't want one of those. All right, let's go to the next slide. I'm up to 8,200 followers there, and I thought it might be interesting to whip up another map. So I went and
we should remind people to follow you on Twitter if they aren't already at I_am_John Cullen. And congratulations on 8,500.
Or 8,200, whatever the heck it is. All right, so what we've got here is an air quality map where as this thing was occurring, I wanted to take a look at, how bad is it?
Ohio,
where is it bad? Yeah. So this is the air quality map from NOAA, and they are using those air quality sensors. You ever see those air quality sensors around?
They're like ping pong balls they throw up into a tornado. Oh no, you mean those like little hood, like looks like a chimney.
It's like a stainless steel. Yeah, it's like a stainless steel thing, and you see them near the highway sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's what these are. These are air quality sensors that are telling you how much particulate matter is in the air. And they're also measuring ozone. And so they were showing you, so there's your particulate matter.
But what is it supposed to be? So it says 124. Is it supposed to be like 0?
Yeah, well, zero is nice, right? Eight is okay. 12 is not as good as 6, right? So the higher it
But
is,
I
the
mean,
worse
what's
it is.
dangerous and what are these particles? Like this is, I have
When
no.
it's reddish, yeah. If you zoom out to the main thing, when it's reddish, it's bad. So red. I don't know if I have the legend on this page. Maybe the next page has the legend. But when it's red, it's bad. So this is what it looks like when when it's nice and clear, and this is smog and stuff. So just different maps and different views of air quality, right? So just looking at what was happening out there and just kind of taking a view. Now, if you want, there's a GIF that I made, let's see, that says SWPA air quality GIF. And I posted this on Twitter. So this is an animated GIF that shows Palestine, Ohio, and shows SWPA air quality GIF. If you sort that folder by kind, type of file, there you go, that's it. And if you let that GIF run, what you're seeing is Palestine, Ohio, and then it's overlaying the air quality in the vicinity as the GIF runs. But I don't see the GIF running.
I got to reload it, I guess.
There you go. So that's the bad air quality. And so this allows you to see, well, what townships, where is it bad? Which direction does it appear to be pluming towards, right, from Palestine?
It's pretty red there.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, but it has since dissipated. It moved along past Pennsylvania. I posted something yesterday morning that the air quality in Pennsylvania wasn't so hot. And but it seems to have moved on. So, but I wanted you to see that GIF that I did. I put that on Twitter, and that's kind of indicative of some of the stuff. Yeah. All right. Why don't we go to the next slide in the deck? Because last week we showed our patrons how exactly the U.S. government was able to determine that the balloon was from China. And we used our special microscopic techniques with your 3D experience, and we zoomed in on the balloon and we showed everybody that obviously this was from China, right? So there you go. Right now, thank God we got Jason here on the controls, because unless you're in the service, special forces,
would never
you're not
spot
going to be.
that.
No, you wouldn't see this. You wouldn't see this. So now that we know it's from China, we can all rest assured. Now, what's interesting, though, is this past week, it seems that Greg Gutfeld may be watching the show, because Greg Gutfeld came on TV this week and said, that's not Chinese. Come on. He's like, that's our balloon. We've been spying. And people are starting to talk about the Guardian article that we cited.
Right.
So it seems that more and more people are watching the show. But again, like when Howard Stern first got on FM, everybody on Wall Street was listening. Nobody would admit it, right? So that's kind of what we are. That's kind of what we are. Except we don't throw baloney in anybody. All right, so what you're looking at now, this is another big story from the week.
Just
another
real
thing
quickly, before we move off of
Yeah.
Ohio, because a lot of people are commenting, it really is disgraceful, John, that they've set aside what you think about if migrants should come to the United States or not, but people who have no affiliation with the United States have been given $500 a night hotel rooms and free cell phone and food, and I mean, all these people, it's 5,000 people in Ohio, in East Palestine, Ohio. So I'm not saying that's a small number, but that's a manageable number. Why don't we take 10 different states and put 500 people in hotels and have the government pay for that while they're cleaning up the town? Or, I mean, look, even if you put people into like that gym that they had that the migrants didn't want to go to, that's better than living in your poison town. They got little kids getting sick, people's dogs dying, chickens dying. Not good. And they're telling them to drink the water.
I think this is the denial stage, which is where they don't want to admit how serious the problem is. And they want to just return to normal. And, we see this return to normal behavior repeatedly. Lone gunman, single shooter, everybody go back to normal, right? They want to, it's all buttoned up. And this is absurd. I mean, this is a tragic accident. It kind of reminds me of the Bhopal. Right. It reminds me of Bhopal in India. I mean, this is a tragic disaster.
The battery factory exploded?
Yeah. And there's more of these happening, by the way, since Ohio. There
Yeah.
have been other trucks have flipping over. Another train crashed, like in Michigan. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. I don't know if
People are
these.
now calling for Buttigieg to resign. I don't, I don't know if there's a silver lining, but if there's any consolation, I think Pete Buttigieg's political career is over after this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What would he be doing right now that's more important than this?
Exactly. Breastfeeding his kids there. But like, even if
Yeah.
he just went there and had like 200 reverse osmosis filters and start giving those out to restaurants or something, and say, hey, everybody come to this restaurant and fill up your water, and we're going to get more filters here. And if he was just there, even if he was there like looking at dead birds with people to evaluate, people would say, well, all right, I mean, at least the government is doing something. Instead, he's going on TV. Joe Biden is saying, come on, man. It's ridiculous.
And with the amount of money that we're sending overseas to fight, I mean, you can't send this town $100 million. You can't spare $100 million. So you don't think that would help out a little bit?
If you've got 5,000 people, and if it's $200 for a reverse osmosis filter, what's 200 times 10,000, 100,000, whatever the number is, $100,000? That's nothing. Get that happening right away.
These guys. They just print money anyway. So why wouldn't they just print some more money for these people? It just seems sort of tragic.
Crazy.
I don't know. Is it racist? We'll have to figure that out.
Well, right. Chest feeding. Sorry, Deb reminds me that egg producing individuals are insulted by the word breast. So we have to.
No, I saw a photo of him chest feeding with this contraption on it. I was like, wow, they didn't have those when I had kids. I can tell you that. So
that was a joke in the movie Meet the Parents. Remember? Now
it's a thing. Now you can actually buy them in different sizes based on how big a man you or. I don't know. Is it okay to call him? Let's just go on to the next slide. Yeah,
but wait,
that's what I'm saying.
This is false. How is this false? It's a picture. Did somebody fake the picture?
I don't know. That's the one I saw, though. Something like that.
It says false. Let's just investigate this. Does a pic show Pete Buttigieg wearing a breastfeeding device? False. U.S. Secretary Pete Buttigieg was on paternity leave. A Republican politician in Indiana posted this image along with the caption, "This is the definition of pedophilia. Sickening. It's not a genuine photograph." Is that right?
Okay. And it's not pedophilia.
Okay, all right. It is a fake. There we go.
Okay, we got a different face.
Well
done.
Different face. Well done,
okay.
But wait, how do we know that Snopes didn't put this guy's face on the Buttigieg picture? Is this Buttigieg's kid?
I don't know. Maybe that's Buttigieg's clone. All right, let's look at the slide because this is some fun stuff this week. The Jeffrey Epstein flight manifests were released.
Ooh, yeah.
Right, and so this is fun. This came from the court, so this is good to go. This is from the judge. The judge said, no, we want everybody to see this. So you've got all kinds of fun people in here, and I mean, we could spend 2 or 3 hours simply going through this and having fun. I mean, this is a riot. You got all the good people are in here. You got Bill Clinton, Doug Band. This is This is some fun stuff right here. So again, we can spend.
How do we know
that
these people were there? These flight logs are filled out by hand. Isn't this a great way to get somebody in trouble? Just write their name on the flight log.
I think there's some sort of official thing that it's a flight manifest. It's kind of official. You can't monkey around with this stuff. So
I wonder.
Fun stuff. And one of the guys in here and the emails that are coming out in this court case, on the next slide, Wall Street Journal picks up the story. So tip of the hat to the Wall Street Journal. Turns out that the former CEO of Barclays Bank, Jess Staley, had deep ties to Mr. Epstein. Lots and lots and lots of emails between the two of them. And that's been coming out in the court case. So that's probably not going to bode well for the future of Mr. Staley's career. So I don't expect to see him at the helm of Deutsche Bank or anything like that soon. But that's just me. I could be wrong.
Wow.
So on the next slide, we've got the National Strategy for Planetary Protection, which is something that the White House decided that maybe they needed in December of 2020.
But wait a minute. They can't even protect Ohio. How the hell are they going to protect the planet?
That's a good question. When they need to send up an F-22 to shoot down a balloon,
Yeah,
and they miss with a missile that costs, by the way, they keep saying it costs $400,000. They don't cost $400,000. They cost $500,000. They're $500,000 each. It's the AIM Sidewinder, and they're $500,000.
what about
And
the fuel
we
for
missed
it?
with the first shot. Yeah, the first shot missed. And if it was really a hobbyist's balloon,
How did it miss?
I mean, come on.
How did
You
it
suck.
miss? I
Yeah,
mean,
right. It's just like, come on.
if
It's
you
like
can't hit a
Russia.
balloon,
It's like Russia taking a year to get Ukraine to surrender. It's like, and we're worried about Russia?
Wait a
What,
minute
Russia's
now.
going to attack California?
Oh, no. I don't agree with that analogy. I think Russia has been getting a hard time because every other country in the world is funneling weapons into Ukraine. It's more like,
yeah. Yeah, it's like the old Afghanistan trick. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what we did last time. Yeah, no doubt.
now what's
But,
going on with
you know.
Ashton Kutcher?
Ashton Kutcher, I just thought it was interesting that the guy puts his phone number in the profile on his Twitter thing.
No,
He's got his
that's
personal phone number in there.
no, that's going to be Signal or something. He's not giving you his phone number, and wouldn't he have like a
Isn't
310
Signal your
or a
phone number?
323?
But what the hell do I know?
Nah, that's
I know
not
he's
his
got
phone number.
17 million followers, and
I
he's got
think
his
he
phone
was the
number up
most
there.
followed on Twitter at some point, wasn't he?
I don't know, but he's got a lot of followers. He's got his phone number up there. I just thought that was weird. So that's why I put it in there. I just thought it was strange. I don't follow him, but I
Yeah,
thought it was
April
fun.
2009, actor Ashton Kutcher became the first person ever to amass 1 million Twitter followers. But he's fallen behind now.
Yeah, he's
17
not
million.
even close to Barack Obama. By the way,
Yeah.
Barack Obama, just for you guys out there that like this stuff, 133 million. In fact, I think it's 133.3 million followers
Not
on
surprised.
Twitter. Barack Obama. 133.3 million followers on Twitter.
We'll look at that in a minute. I just want to make sure that we remind people to follow I am John Cullen on Twitter, but Barack Obama, I got a lot of issues with the Barack Obama Twitter account. I think it's been stuck at 133.3 for some time. Here's a Valentine's Day picture. I don't know. You think she's going to run?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
His
But he
tweets are
is at
so idiotic.
133.3. 133.3.
His tweets are so uninteresting. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, let's follow that. That's brilliant.
I see why he's so popular.
So we've got just a minute and a half left, John, before we make the transition to the sponsor exclusive show on subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen, patreon.com/IamJohnCullen, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Don't forget about odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. What do we want? Let's just take everybody out with one last little bit of information, and then we'll get to the sponsor exclusive
Sure.
segment.
Well, go back to the deck and the picture of the building.
What's
If
that
you
about?
recognize this is on 34th Street, all the way down by 10th Avenue and 34th Street.
Yeah.
And if you go to the next slide, it turns out that building is the headquarters for EcoHealth Alliance and Peter
Oh, yeah,
Daszak.
we've been by it. We've mentioned that
Okay.
before.
Okay, so that's just around the corner. And as we go to our patron-only show, we're going to take a look at some of the crazy things that are going on and why there may not be any chickens to eat in 2 or 3 weeks, and why eggs may be $12 a dozen. So stay
I just
tuned.
had wings for lunch, so that'll be a good episode for people to watch. Don't miss it. It's coming up right now on Subscribestar and Patreon. Huge thank you to the sponsors who make this show possible. And if people are feeling like, where the hell has Jason been lately? It's not as many shows as there used to be. I've been super occupied with lawsuits. It's at an intensity level right now that it's never been before. And that's happening because these scumbag social engineers know they're going to lose, and they're digging in. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the viewer sponsors. Thanks to everybody who makes this show possible. If you're not a sponsor and you'd like the show to continue, become a sponsor. Sponsor John